All right, going live for the playback. People, just make sure to skip ahead a little bit. What is burning? I have like in my ashtray something. What the heck is going on? Something is burning. What the hell is burning in my ashtray? Hold on, man. This don't make no damn sense. This is unnatural. What the hell? My bad, y'all. I'm just getting started. And for some reason, my doobie ashtray is on fire. Hold on. I have to apply a little agua. Wow, I ain't never had to do that. That's crazy. That's crazy. I should have smelled it all in. All right. I'm coming back. I'm back. We just getting started. Should wonder what I'm looking at here. Where am I at? Am I in Rome? Where is this at? Anybody know where this is at? Can anybody guess this location? Can anybody guess that location? What up, man? Just giving it a moment while people come up in here. And we'll see if people can understand where I'm at. What is this? What is this of? What is this? What is this? Where am I at? Where am I at? Your boy hadn't been going live the past couple days because I don't know. I guess my live streaming has been making my voice go out. So maybe he said Washington, Regal. What's up, Regal? No, it's not Washington. You would think it was Washington though, huh? With the pillars, right? You got some more big giant pillars back there. Look at that. It's not Washington. No. Hold on one second. All right, yeah, it's not Washington. But we're about to get into it. This it's only four of y'all in here, so I'm gonna tell y'all. I know Castle. This is in San Francisco. Let me show you. This is in goddamn San Francisco. The Palace of the Fine Arts. I didn't find it. I saw a YouTuber, this YT lady. She did a video there, and I did not know it existed. And her thing was, exactly. Let me jump down here. Said not the Rainbow City. Everything we do, they turn it to some kind of, LG thing. You know what I'm saying? Are all major cities like that? All of our major cities? Nah, not all of them. Atlanta like that. But did Atlanta? I don't know if Atlanta had a World's Fair or not. I'm gonna have to talk a certain way because my voice is just goodness. My voice is just crazy. Let me see if my homeboy also see if I can grab a OZ real off of my boy tonight. Cause your boy getting low. But yeah, so we just getting started. But look at that, dude. Look at that. Look at the symbolism. Look at the detail on this thing. They got women on every corner of this with the details there, there. Do you know how long this was? And then they sitting on top of this with tons of detail, and then they're structured on these big giant three. I can see how they piled each one on each one, so at least I can see it's not one continuous. And then look at that. And that's just one section. And then look, goodness, dude. Look at this, dude. Said, what's up, Casey Megan? Said, bet it's in the structure. Yeah, so this is San Francisco, California, y'all. And we're gonna watch some footage of what San Francisco used to be. Because remember, they said they tore them all down. It was made out of plaster, right? These don't look like plaster. Now, they trying to say that this ain't... Damn it, every time I come back to it, this stupid Google Maps fucking freezes. I can't stand when stuff don't work, man. I swear I can't stand it. Let me close some apps and maybe see if that helps. But, oh my God, just work. It was doing this earlier. Like, what the fuck? Don't nobody want to keep closing that bitch down and open it back up and trying to find the shit again. God. I know I be tripping, though. Fucking with my workflow. I don't like my workflow to be fucked with. That's one thing. So let's look at this. Look at this. You got a wall just to get in that bitch. It was almost like maybe it was like a walled city, you know? And then when you come in, look at that. Now let me see if I can step backwards a bit to get a little bit more of a view. Yeah, as I roll this up. So look at that, man. Now, that's not plaster. Look at that. It's got a lion right there. Wow, dude. And just, you got to think, like these little squares, like, it's probably a perfect, exact measurement between every single one of these squares. Like perfect geometric patterns, shapes, designs. You do not see that. What's up, Lee? Try not to talk too loud because my voice has just been out. What's up, TLD? Saw I didn't see you there. Peace. After the fair. What's up, CR the Great? Didn't see you there. What's up, boss man? I see agriculture deity in the corner. See, you already seeing things. See, and a lot of this symbolism I wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? But look at that, dude. Can't nobody tell me they just built this shit within a year, 2 years, 20 years. Nigga, do you know how much time it would take just to design that bitch? Just to design it, the amount of time it would take to conceive it in your brain. Like, I want to make each one of these squares with women hanging over there as if they're hanging over each side of the square, as if it's like they're whatever the hell they're doing, and they're in gowns, and then there's going to be 3 to 4 different type squares with the such and such, whatever this kind of design is going down it. And then I'm going to, in my head, make this, I don't know what the hell it is. Looks like petal-like leaves that's going to protrude from the top. It's like, well, nigga, how long did it take you just to think of this? And how far apart each of these are going to be? About 3.5 inches apart. And what's up, Fadi? Good to see you. Said the pillars alone. I know the pillars alone. Yeah, they claim it took 4 years. Yeah, 4 years, my ass. This is San Francisco. This is in San Fran, goddamn Cisco, y'all. Okay, this is old world for real. Like I'm gonna put vase like stone vases with people, a whole myriad of things going on right here with people with this design and all. Like, nigga, I couldn't draw something like this within a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to draw it on paper, nigga, I would need, first of all, just to draw the first initial design and then think about, I got to keep my voice kind of from going too high. My voice is just so low. It's still out. That's why I haven't really been live as much. Maybe your boy need to ease back on being so loud. But, you know, this is what they say was built fast. So just think about the measurements that you would need to make on a grand scale. Now, this ain't just it. Let's walk through here. Let's walk through here. So we're going to come in a little bit. Now, notice even here, you got squares inside of squares at certain areas, just those three, just for design, right? The rest of them ain't like that, right? Just for the hell of it, right? And then you got, look at that design right there. Like, why? Because I want it to be there. Why? That's why. Why'd you have to do that design right there? Because I'm showing out, because we dope, right? And then you go up here, and it's just all of these little ridges and designs and this and that. All that perfect. And that's another thing. You do not ever, you say, take something from allergies, feel my voice. Man, yeah, and I don't really have any allergies. I just been going live a lot. And I guess I'm talking a lot the whole time and getting loud. And after my last main live stream, like, my voice just started being out. And I was like, all right, man, I do need to take some. I just need to take some damn, what do you call it? Some like lemon and honey. And I got some in there. I don't know why I ain't took it yet. Bullshitting. My bad, y'all. I'm trying to open up this. But yeah, so when you look at the design in this hoe, this thing, I don't know what's going on. Why is Google Maps messing with me? Why are you messing with me? It's like as soon as I go out, it's been just doing that. Oh my God, dude. And I didn't even leave out of it. I didn't even leave out of the damn. Whatever, man. Pissed me the fuck off. Let's go to this side. Now notice how it is. And it's by a fountain of water, just like it was on the fair, right? Just like it was at the fair. I mean, in the old times. And then you have pillars going in a semicircle right here. We about to jump down and look at these pillars. See, get an idea of how they look on the ground. Now, look at that, man. We were kind of looking at them already, but look at that shit, dude. And that's a little bit more. See how you got different women or whatever over that right there. Yes, it was the World's Fair in Atlanta, Georgia, Cotton States, and an international exposition in 1895. Man, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, see, and for it to be everywhere, Atlanta, Chicago, St. Louis, San Francisco, it's like almost, how many places had them? How many places had these? You know, that we don't know about. We know about a lot of them, and that shit go all the way around there. Then it stops there, and look at all that bullshit this way. That's what y'all got nowadays out there, man. Y'all definitely ain't the builders. Definitely not the builders. Let me go out here. Let's go this way. What's up, Ari? What's happening? My voice is kind of off, but I'm here. So look at this. So we gonna watch some video about this. We're also going to We're going to talk a little bit of California history, San Francisco also, to see who was here slightly before this shit was going on. Well, at least it would have been when this was going on, really. You know what I'm saying? Who was here, you know? We know the white T folks couldn't have built this. That's crazy. You will not find nothing like this in Africa. If you look up the most ancient sites in Africa, nothing like this shows up. Let's actually do that. What are the most ancient sites in Africa outside of? No, you know what? Because saying most ancient site isn't gonna give them enough credit, and I don't want to do just Egypt. So I'm trying to think the better way to word it might be. What are the most historic structures in Africa? I was trying to find maybe their best design structures. Now, what you're gonna get here is shit like that, shit like that. You know, there's not really any rhyme or reason. It looks like a giant sandcastle. Shit like this, right? There's a theme going here. They like to just poke holes out of things. I don't know what the hell. That don't even look real. A lot of that looks computer generated because they ain't really got much. Let me go to the list that it said here. You got the Great Mosque of Denge. We just looked at that. That's a bunch of bullshit. That Jesus monument. This little church thing. Let's see what this church thing. Let's see. Okay. All right. Namibia's capital church. Let me see if I can open it. They got a little church. Can I click on it there? To the next tab? Okay, they got a little church in Africa. Okay, let's go to images. Okay. Somebody built them a church. Oh, good God, get off the screen. That's cool. Yeah, I give them that. Yeah, I doubt they built it. You know, somebody probably built that for them. But you won't find. Let's go back. You got the Zeitz Museum, the Great Mosque of Tabu. Okay, let's take a look at that Great Mosque. You know, let's give them a chance. The Great Mosque of Tabu. And where is this Great Mosque of Tabu on the map exactly? Probably somewhere near the Middle East, but I could be wrong. No, it's up there, off the coast of whatchamacallit. So let's take a look. If anything is gonna look anything like good, is gonna be up there in North Africa, where where you have like your Moorish influence, all that stuff, which is currently Mauritania, stuff like that. Now, it's one thing, and everything else around it is not the same. So, but at the same time, I would say that's a pretty dope structure. I would say that's pretty awe-inspiring. Definitely one of the best things I've seen out of Africa. It's not beating our old world buildings at all. It's definitely not beating our old world buildings, but at least they have some structure to it, some geometric shapes to a degree, and whatever. I really would like to know the history on that. Who built that for real? Because the crazy thing the reason why I say that is most of the stuff that you find that's built pretty decently in Africa is going to be in that top area of Africa, which is either going to be here, Egypt, all this, possibly somewhere. I don't know. They ain't really got too many other things. If they have to go by mosque, which that's fine. African Heritage House. Let's look at the African Heritage House. Yeah, this is what came up under the most best structures. Now this I can believe they built. This has Africa architecture written all over it. How do I get to a photo? This has Africa architecture written all over it. You know why? They like to poke holes out of things. See that? I'm starting to notice a theme with Africa. Now I don't understand it. I don't know if it's monkey bars. They really just think it really looks good to poke poles out of things. I really don't understand it, but it seems to be a distinct thing they like to do, right? You know, just like there's distinct things we do here in America. We have distinct architectural designs, right? Yeah, most of these are just, let's see, Bob Mansour Lajif. Let me give him a chance. But I bet this is going to be in the north. It looks like it could be pretty cool. Looks pretty cool, decently cool, okay. Where is it at? Where is this at? Let me guess. Some part of North Africa. Where the sand's at. What did I say? Morocco. So I don't even have to guess. Yeah, your main structures are gonna be some mosque outside of Morocco, or right, the other one was down over in here, or Egypt over here. The thing I'm getting at is you're not gonna find much down up in here at all, and that's where you got holes poking out of shit and stuff like that. So then we get back to this. So why would you? What am I saying? He said, who's lying? Yeah, they probably play on the monkey bars in their free time. So now I jump back to this because you got to think. They're trying to hide things from us. They're trying to hide things about Americans. And what are they hiding? Well, there's two big things we know that they're hiding. One thing we know that they're hiding is the identity of the people who are really here. We know for sure that they're hiding it, right? And what's the other thing they're hiding? The other biggest secret there could possibly be is the fact that this place has been around and has amazing structures in it that has stood the test of time, built by likely those same people. He said Palace of Fine Arts has always been a mystery to me. Man, I'm just now finding it, Bree, to be honest. I'm just now finding out about it, which is crazy. But now we're going to watch and see if we can locate possibly that building in some of these old footages. And we're going to see what we can gather from some of these videos from that time. I'm going to play some of this one. This is from 1915. This is from 1939, which is crazy. When was the fire of San Francisco? I think that was... When was the fire of San Francisco? I thought it was 1906. 1906. So when... Let me ask this. What happened to the World's Fair in San Francisco? The World's Fair 1915 Pacific was demolished after it ended. So they say they took it down. They're admitting that they took it down. Cause didn't let me do this. You said 1906. Mm-hmm. The Great Fire was in 1906, and then you got, and I was like, well, is that supposed to be the destruction of the fair? But no, the fair was still going. 1906, they claimed this was built in the 60s after demolition. Yeah, that's crazy. Let me see. What happened to the Chicago World's Fair buildings? They were all just saying that they're dismantled. For some reason, I don't know. For some reason, I thought it was the Great Fire that took them out. But apparently it wasn't the Great Fire. But the Great Fire took out the city, big parts of the city, which also took out some historic structures as well. which we'll get to, because if you go to the archive, you type in San Francisco fire. And they either call it fire or earthquake. Let me change the years. And I also got some I also have some newspaper clippings on it too. San Francisco aftermath. This is 1906. This is some quick footage from the 1906 aftermath of the San Francisco earthquake. So this ain't what took out the. This ain't what took out the. It's a fire and an earthquake. They got hit with a double whammy. Okay, let's take a look. A little destruction. A lot of people standing around in lines. Makes you wonder what the hell they waiting on. Let me argue. Now, are things still on fire? Does that look like an earthquake could do that, or does it look like it's been bombed? HAARP, advanced HAARP technology, took out the Tartarian civilization. Man, they arrived there. I feel like they just got there because they standing around. You know what I'm saying? And like, why? And they all fully clothed in the same kind of clothes. You know? And they just kind of lollygagging around. Some of them walking around haphazardly. Ain't nobody like rushing to grab people out of the rubble. Ain't nobody rushing for, emergencies. Ain't nobody scrounging for something to eat, crying and devastated. He's carrying a little thing. Look at all them buildings gone, dude. Like, this don't look like no earthquake. Like, the stuff is just gone. Like an earthquake leaves rubble. Yes, but this stuff is just like dust almost. That's like dust. I see a building back there in the background. And I've looked through some of these. Like, look at that building right there. Would an earthquake do that? And I've looked at some earthquake damage. And yes, I see stuff like that. Sometimes, the building would collapse in on itself from an earthquake. Yes. But, like, there's another one that I want to find where it's like a stone building and the top of it. Hold on, what was that? I don't know what that was. Look at all these people. Let's see how they're moving and what they're moving for. Let's look. You're quite literally pulverized. Yeah. There were a lot of gas explosions as a result of the earthquake, though. Passion Pixel, you sound like you're a propagandist. Gas explosions because of the earthquake? Where did you get that information? Let's Google it. Maybe she's right. He or she. Or troll. Were there a lot of gas explosions because of the San Francisco earthquake? What? Hold up. Was there a lot of gas explosion? It says, yes, the San Francisco caused a massive number of explosions and subsequent fires, which were the main cause of the city's widespread destruction. The earthquake ruptured gas mains, which, along with the damaged water mains, made it impossible to fight fires that spread across the cities. Oh, okay, so they're giving excuses. So they're saying not only did the gas blow up, to cause the fire. That was the cause. The earthquake ruptured the gas lines, you see. And then we couldn't put no water on it, you know what I'm saying? Because the water lines had burned, you see. So we just had to let it play out. playing exactly. They might be lying too. They hella lying. Like the last thing I do is believe the first thing that's told to me, even if it's backed up by a Google search. We always got to think logically. They always lying. Exactly, BS. But according to whoever the hell that was, Passion Pixel, who stands by their name of Passion Pixel and a fake avatar of a girl who looks like she could be somebody's sugar baby, or looks more like a sugar baby fake avatar for somebody who's trolling. They believe wholeheartedly in that information. But if they would have stopped, and it's like they putting too many, just putting too many extras on the story. If they would have stopped at the gas mains ruptured, I'd have been like, okay, maybe so. Okay, maybe some gas mains ruptured. But then when they added because that's what these white T folks do. They add too many extras on the story, and that's when it starts to get stupid. Then it was like, but on top of that, the water main, bro. And we ran out of tires. We couldn't even drive out of this bitch. The tires was flat and shit. And so the fire departments in the neighboring towns, we couldn't call them because the phone lines was down. Okay, the phone lines was down. The water was gone. The whole city was just burning. What was I supposed to do? Okay. Let me get back to it. So that'd be what they'll do. And then they'll just walk around. Let's see what they're doing. Let's see where they're going. They're all look at them. They're all dressed in the same outfits like goddamn lemmings. Okay, they're walking around this bitch like goddamn lemmings. They walking around in full suits with hats, all black, and the women are walking around with the same white and whatever dresses as if they just been cloned and placed here. In my opinion. As if they just been cloned. I gotta calm down on my voice because it's been out. It said this is a stage video. Could be staged, could be real. I've seen some staged old video too. But let's look. Okay. I don't know what they're doing. Are those TPs? Is that supposed to be how people living since the fire? But they all still, okay, if that's the case, I don't know if those are supposed to be tents that people are living in, but then when you go this way, you see them fully suited with all hats, shoes. It's like, do you wake up and really put on a full suit? Does nobody say, hey, let me take this blazer off today? It's a little hot in San Francisco today, especially after the fires and shit. Let me just take this blazer off. Like, think about it. Nobody took their blazer off, nigga. Nobody. Yes, did you ever read history? Wall Street Trapper, who you talking about? What you mean yesterday ever read history? Unless you're talking to somebody down there. It is a stage video. That's not a black dress bag. What do you mean by yes, did I ever read history? But yeah. Why would nobody? They look like the goddamn Men in Black. They're clearly not from there. They look like exactly. They're not going anywhere that we see. We don't see them going towards a specific place, a rubble, a building, a location. Bro, every live I drop in, and you be, you know what I'm saying? I always got to chef it up. And these people are on horse and buggies. Also, look at that. People are on horse and buggy. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that there wasn't no cars, but obviously it wasn't enough cars to not make niggas be on horse and buggies. It's given AR crazy how they didn't have GPS as well. Oh, okay. You seem like you might be. I don't know. But so I don't know why I'm not letting that play. So yeah, where they going, and why they all dressed the same? Was it against the law to take your blazer off? I think it was. They had a law against that. That's what it is. They had a law against the shit. The Matrix for sure. Yeah. This is San Francisco. Yeah, this is the San Francisco earthquake aftermath of 1906. Okay, we got some people in their dresses. We got some more rubble. Look at that devastation. You mean to tell me some gas ruptures and an earthquake would do that? And fires? And what are these people doing? Nobody's looking through it. That nigga just sat down on it. Hold on. That nigga just said, let me sit down on this rubble. I ain't gonna look through it. Hold on, right here. Where you go? Right there. That man just sat the fuck down. Like, nigga, I'm tired. Hold up. Nigga this nigga right here. Watch this nigga right here. Watch him. Go sit his ass down. Watch him. Yeah, nigga, I'm tired of this shit. Hold on, let me decline this dude. So, and there's several more of these. So, but this isn't real. This is before, but still, just it gives you an idea on what was going on even before we get to the state fair. I mean, to the World's Fair. How come the World's Fair buildings didn't fall during this time? How come the World's Fair building didn't go away during this time? Well, they said it didn't exist. Technically, they want to say it didn't exist, but we know it existed. Nobody just built that shit in a few years. And these are the people who are just walking around that you wanted, in suits that they want us to believe that built the building, built the world. Like, they were just in trolleys, and they probably stole those from us, to be honest. But, okay, look at that building. There's one. I wanted to find something. Look at that. Hold on. That's like a state capitol building right there. Let me pause it. Let me see if I can pause it. That's like a state capitol building right there. And look at how it's destroyed. How is this still intact and this not? Would a fire, and this would have been made of stone, like the World's Fair. How would a fire take out the stone like that and leave some parts? Or was it the earthquake that caused it to shake, and maybe it's just falling over from the earthquake? I'm just looking at all things. Let me see what y'all saying. All that acting, that's why he was tried. Bruce, that's it. I'm saying it is, and George was the one that destroyed it. That history was made up also. Yep, thank you, love. Oh, y'all talk. So I must have missed whatever Bruce said down there. That looks nuclear. I know, right? It don't look like just a fire and earthquake could really do all this, because you got to think that fire and the earthquake would have had to be massive, which there are some massive earthquakes. I don't want to say that there aren't. But on top of that, the fire would have been massive. And it would have had to burn for several days to get a lot of these things to look like what they look. And I just don't believe that that's what happened. And so for those people that are just joining us, saying energy weapons and being electronic warfare, I do believe they had something. Because just like I believe they had to have something to do this, I believe we had to have something to do this. See how it's not working? Piece of shit ass fucking Google Maps. Oh, good God. Let me open it back up. I knew it was going to do it. I knew it was going to do it. So, in San Francisco, you still have remnants of the old world. And just this one structure alone, I just don't believe that they could have built just this one thing in a year, let alone the entire fair. And I feel like they didn't have enough time to really destroy everything, because and they forgot about something. I just don't know. It's kind of like, why did you leave some of this intact? And I also wonder if there's some remnants available in some of these other cities that maybe we just don't know about. And you got to go there or figure it out. Maybe I need to do some Googling to search. Every single one of these squares have 4 women over it, kind of hanging over it. And it's kind of hard to explain. But then you got the vases, the stone vases, vases, whatever, however you say it. With that, you got the lion in the middle of the door. You got the sculptures at the top of some kind of whatever. You got more sculptures right here. Like, dude, who did this? How was this done? So look at the observatory in Los Angeles. Okay, is it Tartarian? It's American, whatever it is. It could be the Tartarian, but it's American. Geopolymer, they use resonance frequency and ancestors to wear a night suit to control the frequency. Geopolymer. The sword was, I don't know. It's definitely reminiscent of the old world in New Orleans. See, I need to start. I'm definitely gonna eventually start tackling this stuff. I gotta really get through all the. It's like you bust up enough history just to get past, proving who we are and all the historic narratives and stuff like that. And then there's this whole other stuff of old world mounds, ancient sites and stuff that we still have not. Not we. A lot of y'all have really. A lot of people are going into this a lot. I don't want to say we. I haven't gone into it as much, and I know I will at some point, and I look forward to it. But so let's look at what San Francisco World's Fair was like in 1915. Let me try to find one that's not as long. But I want it from 1915. This is 1915. But look at the...
known today as...
Oh, they give it credit. They said that's what it is, for real.
They called it the Jewel City. It rose from the mudflats of San Francisco's waterfront, a cosmopolitan wonderland built to last just 10 months. One of the only vestiges of this lost...
You don't put that much effort into something to tear it down 10 months later. Yeah, I'm going to do all this. And then I know for sure in about 10 months, I'm going to get rid of all of it. Come on now.
City is this building, the Palace of Fine Arts. But in 1915, this was just one of many grand palaces that lined the avenues of a 600...
I seen it.
But in 1915, this was...
hold up. Damn.
City is this building.
Okay, you see those pillars right here where it's like these 4 like pillars, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? I was like, I'm going to be looking for those in the motherfucking video. Watch.
The Palace of Fine Arts. But it...
Right there. With the damn thing going around. With the same design. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the ones on the side. So that motherfucker was there. Okay? Bullshit me not.
1915, this was just one of many grand palaces that lined the avenues of a...
And you can see it right there, too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those things with the squares with the ladies sitting over top should be there. And I think that might be that whole center thing, possibly.
635-acre mini metropolis constructed to host the World's Fair in the area known today as the Marina District. The fair drew some 19 million people, mostly for...
Nigga, 19 million. Do you know how insane that sounds? That's damn near most of the population of the white folks. What was the white population in America in 1915? They said there's around 100 million people, and they said 19 million. That would be almost all the white T folks. Not almost all of them. I mean, that's like 1/4. And just think about that. Like, and of course, this is just some thing. This dude's just saying stuff, but most of these white T folks supposedly started on the East Coast. And remember, when people came into Ellis Island, it was between the late 1800s and all the way up past the 1900s. And there was about 12 million that came in during Ellis Island. And what was the population census in 1900? What was the total population in America in 1900? $76 million. I don't know, man. It just seems kind of high. It just seems kind of high. Maybe it was. I just don't see 19 million people in 1915, white folks, in that bitch. That don't even make sense.
The thrill of exploring displays and demonstrations that highlighted the progress of
Yeah,
industry
I didn't think
technology.
that. Yeah, I didn't think about that. How the hell did they get 19 million motherfuckers out there? How did these motherfuckers get here? Like, you mean y'all came in Ellis Island and then y'all motherfuckers tracked it on horse and buggies, millions of y'all, to motherfucking Cali? You know how long it takes to get to Cali in a car from goddamn New York? Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. Even my damn self. Of course. Your Google Maps is frozen. Whoops, goodness. NYC. Okay, the New York City will say directions. Choose a starting point in San Francisco. Hell, Google had to think for a minute on that one. Like, nigga, you trying to go where? You trying to drive where? A day and 19 hours. So almost a 2-day non-stop drive. If you was going to really drive it, it's probably going to take you, if you're going to drive 12-hour days, it's going to be four 12-hour days. That's going to be 4 12-hour days. Yeah, let's not even stop for gas. I know I'm serious, right? He said you only have that one rebuttal. Oh, you talking to old boy? I'm gonna come down after this live stream. Okay, bet. I'm free all day tomorrow. All right, my bad, y'all. Let's do walking distance. If you was gonna walk it, it's 45 days. Okay, that's a hell of and that's nonstop. And that's with clear paths and all this other shit. I don't know how the hell they even calculated that. I really wonder where the hell they gonna walk your ass to? I bet they just made that bitch up. They just be like, nigga, no, it's actual path. Nigga, these niggas ain't playing. They like, oh, you really want to walk? Nigga, okay, take Mildred up to Interstate 30. That ain't no Interstate, Highway 30, and walk your happy ass to the family chef. Nigga, get you something to eat. It's gonna be a while. That's crazy. That's a waste of Google's time right there, calculating that. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to the video. I just don't see, I just don't see how 19 million people got to California like that. during that time. Free energy towers and airships. Yeah, yeah. And don't get me wrong, I know people was over here, but them, no.
And culture.
Cause yeah, they really didn't even start really getting here like that. Like literally, let me just show you. Like literally, voyagers were still coming to that bitch and writing books. Oh, I know where. I'm like, where's the best, fastest way to get to that? Voyagers were still getting to San Francisco, writing books about the goddamn Indians in 1820 goddamn 2. Okay, like this is a French book, 1822 published, right? And this is the most official. So it's by Lewis Corse, 1822 book publication. And in here, I mean, I may need to go. Yeah, I ain't gonna be too long on the live stream. My voice is already tripping. I can feel. I need to go. Well, here in a minute, I'm gonna give me some damn. While I play the video, I'm gonna give me some damn tea, honey, and lemon, and sip on that bitch. But he drew all of these. He drew all of these. Now, who is this person he drew? What did he say this was? Let's turn this way. He said that is a. I want to zoom in, but I just think be tripping sometimes. Now that looks like your Native American, don't it? Don't that look like your modern day, somewhat Siberian, right? But he says that those were the Arahuacanos indigenous de Chile. Now, you got to think, why would he be saying that about this in 1822? In Chile, well, Chinos have been going over there for the longest and mixing. Different people have been going there and mixing already in different areas. He's kind of taking his voyages late. It's not like his voyages are 1492. It's not like his voyages are 1500s. It's not like his voyages are 1600s. It's not like his voyages were 1700s. His voyages are 1800s, right? So we got to think about the mind frame. What is he looking at? What is he saying? Who is there? So these are the Arahuacans according to him at the time, which isn't far off. There are a lot of light-skinned Arahuacans, but she does look like one of your Siberians. To a degree. But the Chinos have been there for a while. Now, you got people like this. These are more inhabitants of Chile, just more who he's right now. Now, the Spaniards, think about it. The Spaniards have been coming to the Chile area since the 1500s. So I'm not surprised to see this. It's historically correct, technically, for that time period. So we keep going. We'll see who else he draws. Oh, she has a chest out, so I don't want to keep that up. You know, TikTok be tripping. Let's go to some other ones. We go down some pages. Now he has this. Now, that also looks like some of your $5 Siberians, but really more Chinese looking or something. This is Kamchaldes. Sometimes I have to look these up to figure out where they are. Like the same thing with this one, and I think these are going to be similar. But as you can see what they look like, and I'm going to look up the Kamchaldes. These are the people of the Kotzebue. So let's look up Kamchaldes. Let's look up the Kotzebue first. And we're getting to San Francisco. Kotzebue. Where's the Kotzebue? In Alaska, okay? What did the Alaskans look like in 1822? Well, like these people. Like these folks, okay? You know what? I'm going to look that other one up afterwards. If I do, I really don't care. I'm gonna try to just get through these. But you kind of will see, and he's drawing like some skulls or whatever. So I'm kind of going through the book, whatever, right? And then he drew some inhabitants here. They look very similar. They're the child show, whatever. Just believe me, when I looked that up, it's also in Alaska. And that's what they look like, right? Like some Chinese people in 1822. Now, mind you, there were melanated people before them, but this is 1822 expedition. So this is technically historically correct for its time. Okay? So we keep going here, and he makes here is where we finally get to California. A California mission. Now, at first glance, you would be like, oh, these people he drew kind of look like those Siberians, right? Just a little bit, not really. They're a little bit more melanated. Notice the mission structure back there. But a little bit more melanated, but okay. But then you go over a couple pages, and this is what you see as far as the inhabitants of San Francisco. Everybody's heavily melanated. You got different hairstyles, different hair textures. Some in a bun, some not in a bun. Things of that nature, right? I was like, okay, all right, 1822. Okay, people were still melanated. Okay, here's the inhabitants of California, not just San Francisco. Okay, melanated women with thick, straight hair, but thick. Not like we didn't know how to straighten our hair, but it's thick. But you still might be, okay, well, maybe not, right? Okay, well, we'll keep going. These are also some of those. And I can't zoom in for whatever reason now. They're tripping. Now, some of these you would almost take to be of your Mexican stock. But not necessarily. Hold on, let me see if I can. Why is this stuff tripping today, dude? God damn. Whatever. Okay. And then as we keep going, you also get this right here, which I cannot zoom in on. Now, let's just say I was wrong about these being us or our people or whatever, right? Let's just say I was wrong about that. Well, since I'm going to have to go back anyway, because the book is tripping. Well, I would say, why did they write another book and call it San Francisco 100 years ago? San Francisco 100 years ago, right? And as we go into the book, you see it's published in 1913, almost 100 years since Lewis Corris had been there. Funny, 2 years before the World's Exposition. But notice this says it's translated from the French of Lewis Corris. So what is this book? This book is supposed to be a translation of when Lewis Corris got there, right? So as you go through the book, you'll notice he also decided to draw the people. But notice he decided to leave the melanation completely out. So then I start to wonder, if the other one was incorrect, then why would you just not, or if the other one was correct, why would you just not use it? One, why are you changing it? Two, right? And it's not until later, well, let me show you this one. They also did this one, right? So they at least added a little shading in there, but, they redrew it. It's supposed to be a photo, acting like it's a photocopy, but it looks like they completely redrew it. Because if it was a photocopy, you would see the line going down the halfway of the face. Remember, let me pull that up. Since the damn thing done froze up on me. Remember, their faces are halfway a different color, Notice that. So if this was an exact photocopy, you would see a line going down the face. No, it was a redrawing, purposeful redrawing. Now, this could just be a harmless redraw, right? Sam, they was just redrawing it to translate it. And what they would tell you is it was more expensive to create things in color ink. So they decided not to do that, Sam. It's just that simple, right? You're just looking too much into things. Okay? Well, I would say, okay, well, how come when I find out later this is called the Miwok tribe, and when you look on the National Parks and Services, let's see if I don't have it. If I can't Google it, then I'll go pull my receipt. It might be here. Let's see. Could be. Oh, yep, right here. When you look at the government site about the Miwok Indians, what photograph did they decide to use? What photograph did they decide to use? Now I'm even thinking even more so like, So it's generated by the government. Yeah. So now I'm like, okay. So you're telling me that the government didn't know the other one existed? The researchers wasn't that good at the research work. So they only got the 1922 copy of the book. They didn't know the 1913 copy of the book. They didn't know the 1822 version existed. Well, if that's the case, I would say, then why are we trusting people at the government with anything? If that's the kind of goddamn researching they gonna be doing, right? Are they just completely incompetent? Or do they have an agenda? An agenda to erase people. And I'm about to pull up and show you what the Miwok tribe looks like today. Now just think, that was just 1822 when Louis Kors said they look like this, right? But if you go to the Miwok tribe, let me find their website, California Miwok Valley. Well, that's what they looking like now. Now, does she look like those women in the photo? Now, some would say, well, I think that's a wig on her hair. I think they be playing games, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's got to be a goddamn wig. Is she playing games? She's trying to keep the appearance up to make it look like she got that thick hair. But let's go to see more people in here. Oh yeah, I couldn't. The Miwok. That's not even a damn tribe. Miwok people. This is a tribe. Contact us. Home. Programs. Explore. Oh no, that's the California State Park Services thing about them. Indian Affairs, Miwok Tribe Organization. I might have to go pull my damn receipts on where. I forgot what they called them. So Shingle Springs, I think it was. The Shingle Springs Band of Miwok Indians, okay? So yeah, when you go here, these are your Miwok. Let's see. Departments. Government. Tribal Council. Here we go. There we go. I ain't got to go pull it up now. So these are your Miwok Indians today. Okay. These would be the descendants of these people. You can't tell? You can't tell the resemblance from any of these folks? Can you see? That's their grandma. Their great-great-grandma. Now, you may be wondering why the skin is so YT. I mean, a little interbreeding with some Jersey Shore looking YTs is what caused them all to happen. So think about this: in less than 100 some years, the melanation has completely been wiped out of the tribe's skin tone. That's what they want us to believe. They want us to believe that when Louis Kors got there in 1822 and saw people looking like this and the other ones I showed you, pale faces everywhere, and yeah, and it is not only just pale faces, it's different phenotypes. This nigga looks like he could be a Englander, some British guy with them teeth in that face. She looked like she could be, to be honest, you may try to mistake her for a Mexican or something like that, but to me, she looks more of like a is not really Israeli, somewhat Spanish. Maybe I be forgetting about the little. We just did like a live stream. I just did a live stream the other day where we looked up like phenotypes of different. What's up, Nikki? Just see you down there. How you doing? Chris Redfield said, "I live in California. We haven't seen the sun in 3 days." What the hell are they doing? Spraying the sky? Yeah, Italian. Yes. Okay. Yeah, modern day Italian, of course. I can see that. Yeah. We just did the whole phenotype check with Europeans the last live stream. I don't know what the hell she is. She could be like East Indian mixed with Siberian. Think about that. Mixed with a little Arab. I don't know. There's something going on there. It looks Asian. Hindu, yeah, y'all can see it too. Okay. Now, like I said, she looks Italian. Like she's from, like I said, New Jersey Italian at that. That's what I get from her. It says she's got a lot of makeup on, for real. She looks Mexican. She looks like a modern day Mexican. She could pass for that. Because the Italians and the Arabs, they all pass for Mexicans. All they got to do is speak Spanish. Or just tell you that they Mexican. If she tells you she's Mexican, you would believe her. But she could be 100% Italian. She could be 100% Spaniard. Some of them could be 100% YT. I know what is YT. That's all of them, really. But, they look native, too. You said they look native. No, I don't know what you mean by they look native. You gotta be trolling. Say some shit like that. Cause only a troll would just ignore their eyeballs like that. Like, this bitch look like she could be in anybody's goddamn trailer park today. Okay? Trailer park trash Betsy. Okay? And you come in here talking about some she look native. Boy, if you'll get your eyes checked, America's Best contact lenses, they have sales if you need, some people need to re-up their contact lens subscription. You've been using the same ones for the past 6 years. You're not supposed to do that. Over time, it gets blurry and your eyes get itchy, okay? And you can't see like you're supposed to be seeing. Because with nobody in their right goddamn mind say that this bitch looks like a goddamn native, okay? Not even a modern day native. I would give that to that metrosexual, non-binary motherfucker before I'd give it to that bitch, okay? Y'all be tripping. They would include this bitch, okay? Come in here with that bullshit, man. Y'all niggas be bullshit, man. Now look at these. Now, you would say these people, they look native. What does native look like? Anything but black and white and... Yeah, really, it's anything with black and white when y'all think about it. That's what these fools do. They play games with you. If it's not a direct black person, if it's not a direct European, and it's not a direct, distinct Arab, I guess. But Arabs can go anyway. Arabs can cut their hair and be looking any kind of way. Asian, yeah, I don't know about all that. She said, yeah, anything but black or white. Exactly. Because that's why you get these Mexicans that claim it, and they're not real Mexicans either. They're your YT Mexicans that claim it. Let a black-skinned Mexican speaking Spanish from Saint Domingue, or goddamn, Puerto Plata or some shit say that they're indigenous or they look native. No, you're African. Okay, bitch. Y'all, so niggas like him can throw on a sombrero, and he's all of a sudden a Spanish person, right? He could throw on a construction outfit and some work boots, and you'd believe him, right? But here he is, and you'll say he looks native. So what are we doing here? What are we talking about? You're late. You're very late. I don't have to give you a rundown. Coming in here with that bullshit. Coming in here with that bullshit talking about people look native. You don't even know what the hell we talking about. That's how you know you dumb. Because these people don't look like these people. And these people were here in 1822 when the French person got here. Now, how do these people turn into these people in less than 100 years? Well, let the idiots tell it. He said, I was just arguing with these folks. Are you mad? She must be talking about he looks Mexican. That Jose. Oh, man. So, yeah. So, these are your Indians on the tribe now. Now, like I said, that's why the National Parks and Services website uses this one from the other book, which is the book that was written 100 years afterwards, that was whitewashed and not photocopied on purpose in order to use it for the government version, in order to allow people like this to claim it later, and you wouldn't think shit about it. But if you knew that these people look like this, and then these people come up to you saying, hey, I'm one of these people, you would ask goddamn questions. You would ask all kinds of questions. Except for some other people in the chat that wouldn't ask questions. They just go along with YT narratives. Says, sup, Wabez? Yeah, I got my can cracked. I got my 6 can cracked of cold beer because I'm an alcoholic. Statistically, we've been alcoholics for a long time. We haven't built shit on the reservations and I don't know how fucking long. We just like to be here and get our per caps. Stop going through history. We don't want y'all going through history and read books. It's gonna stop my per cap. I need my per cap money to keep coming here and keep claiming my indigeneity. That's why the government puts the whitewash photos up in order to give me my clarity in my past, okay? But niggas like us, we actually look at this and we look at history and we know that you're fucking morons, okay? We know that you're morons, okay? It said they have the cultural continuity, language, and lineage. What's the rebuttal to that? Oh, I'll show you a rebuttal. Let's get into that. Opening up a can of worms, are we? Okay. Let's look at one of the oldest boarding schools yearbooks. Lineage and cultural heritage. Okay? In here, you're going to have photographs of these people. Now, I want you to notice something. One, they took a lot of our last names. We're going to get to that. Sullivan, Pike, like Albert Pike, Keel, Johnson. They're not Indian names. You know, Mackenzie Hubbard. I definitely know some Black Hubbards. People who look like they've never been mixed in their lives, right? This is 1918, and most of these photographs are probably doctored. But what's not doctored are these photographs. And what I find funny about photographs like these is everybody is in a military outfit. What are fake foreign natives doing in our country with military outfits on? Now you might say, Sam, you're over exaggerating. These aren't military outfits. That's not a sailor's uniform. Right? Why would they be wearing these things? Why would they be in military outfits? See, you came to the wrong live stream. You're probably going to leave before I burst your bubbles. Now, this is one school. Let me show you another one. DJ Khaled voice. Another one. Right there. 1918. The Carlisle. What will we find down the Carlisle School? Now, this is going to talk about the military portion and why your people, or not your people, but whatever, I don't know who the hell you are, but why these natives had on military outfits. Let me just go down. We're going to get to the page. Hold on, let me find it over here first on the side. So, if you didn't think that those were military outfits, even at the Carlisle school, they were also in military outfits. Not only are they in military outfits, they're standing in formation like military men. What were these Asiatic people, Mongolian people, Siberian people doing in a battalion? What are they doing in a battalion? Yes. What are you saying? I know about the Carlisle School. Did you know that they was a military training camp for your people? Why would your people need a military training camp, sir? Let me move that down some. I can't see here. Oh, let me turn this light off so I can see a little bit, y'all shit a little bit better. Now I can see your I didn't fart. That was my that was my foot went across the thing. I don't want y'all sitting there. That's nasty. Now I can see your comments a little bit better. Training to take over for citizenship. Exactly that part. Yeah. Because you got to think too. This is the first boarding school yearbook. Now the story they try to paint to you is they forced us to go to boarding schools. We wasn't trying to go. We was punished. And they forced us in there and said we couldn't speak our Indian language. I said, I know my grandma. They said, no, you don't, you little whippersnapper. I said, damn, I guess I don't know my grandma no more. Stupid ass motherfuckers. They sell this story. So why would they join the military that same year? Hey, would you like to come fight for us? I know we just kind of forced you off your land and put you in reservations, and at least that's the story. Forced you off your lands and put you in reservations and set you up in schools and stole your children for a little bit. But we need you to come fight for the World War real quick. And y'all said, cool, let's do that. Y'all was cool with that? Where you go? Where he go? Chris Redfield, you still here? It's your stupid ass. Explain this. I want you to come up and explain this. Can you explain this? Because you know what joining a military gets you? Do you know what joining a military gets you? It gets you citizenship. It gets you citizenship. And guess when the new Native Americans got citizenship? Not the old ones, not the Indians. The Indians got their citizenship through treaties back in the 1830s and 1850s and shit like that. That's when the Indians got their citizenship, if they stayed on their land and didn't go to Oklahoma. When did they get their citizenship? Oh, let's Google it, Mr. Chris. Some of y'all know. When did Native Americans get citizenship? Oh, 1924, after you fought the wars? Well, who else fights wars and gets citizenship? Immigrants. Ain't that what immigrants get? Let's Google that. Can immigrants get citizenship by joining the military in America? Well, we already know this, but yes. 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 You said, I know some who joined just so they can get their citizenship. Yep. And they're still doing it today. That's not even relevant. How's it not relevant, sir? Here we have two schools, which are the two earliest schools of boarding schools. Okay, let's keep that in mind first. Two of the earliest boarding schools, the Chilocco and the Carlisle. And they both are military training grounds. Why? I thought we were just trying to kill the Indian, save the man. We also had to send you out to kill men too, nigga? I thought that was supposed to be the whole goal. But now you're in a troop. Now you're in a battalion. Why would you be fighting for the oppressor in wars? Now, see, our people were told we were fighting the wars for freedom. That was probably a bunch of bullshit. If anything, we was the South and we was fighting the war against the North, against the East, I should say. People coming from the East, the colonies, in my opinion. When I start diving deeper into that, that's what I'm, because the whole North and South thing never really made sense to me. Because y'all got to think about this. Let's go sidebar. Because old boy's pretty much been crushed. Chris has pretty much been crushed. He's just sitting in here because he's a fucking lame. The 13 colonies. Lame. The 13 colonies was this right here, right? That was the 13 colonies. Okay? So let's look at, when did the Civil War happen? 1861, 1865. Okay, well, I just don't know, because you got to think. Westward expansion happened after 1803, so yes. But was there a real declarative line of North and South? Let me pull up the map. So what you have here, and we'll pull up the Indian map too. We'll pull up that Indian map. Seminole. Where you at? Right there. I want the whole thing. God damn it. Let me find the whole thing. Indian Territory Map, Library of Congress. I think I got this saved somewhere too, the whole thing, so I ain't got to keep doing this, but whatever. Let me just do it again. All right. So what you have all the way up until 1800 is a distinct period of them being regulated to the entire East. Now, when westward expansion happens, I mean, they still was kind of here. So the whole north and south thing, I just never really understood. But I do understand it because when you look at the population density map, slave population density map, you'll notice that the bulk of our people are down there in the South. We're also along that East Coast, but we're definitely heavily down there in the South. So who had the numbers to really be fighting in the South, right? Now, YT folks started showing up in the South. By 1865, let's see, you probably had several hundreds of thousands, at least what they say, YT folks showed up in certain states. They weren't states at the time. They were starting to become states. Louisiana, Alabama, stuff like that, Mississippi. But prior to that, prior to 1803, they were not those states. Statehood didn't come from some of those until 1820 and 1830-ish. Or the 18 teens. So what you got is, it's the South. But the North technically wasn't all North, because, and the reason why I say that is because when you go to the maps of the Indians, again, they had the 13 colonies. Yeah, they did westward expansion, but they were still kind of populating these cities. And what was, was everything free above a certain north line? Like, I don't know. I don't want to get too out of the weeds here, because I hate saying things that I can't back up with hard proofs. You know what I'm saying? But that's just kind of my conjecture, that we was the South and YT folks was the North, or really just the colonies who had expanded, who eventually we tired of the motherfucking expansion. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what was the expansion doing? Well, the expansion was going through getting rid of Indian territory lands, which we was already on. Which, to show that for some people who don't know, I can get off of that. He ain't talking about shit. Some of the people who don't know, on the census from those years, nobody's counting the states like Alabama until later years, right? And then you get all these people that pop up out of existence, and they didn't come from slave ships, because you couldn't come from slave ships after 1808, and there wasn't no migration. We already talked about all that, right? So you had the bulk of these people in this area, in these areas, and then they want to say, well, their excuse is the black people fought in the war because they wanted to be free. It's almost like, hey, if you're going to ask us why is there so many black people enlisted in these armies versus white people, we have an excuse for you. Well, they were slaves, and they was told that if they went out there and fought, they would get their freedom. Why wouldn't you do that, right? But that don't make sense to me, because you can also pay for your freedom through payments, installment payments, all kind of different ways. We've been over that too. So it's like, if I can pay for my freedom in installment payments, why the hell would I go fight for y'all for this motherfucking matter? Just for my freedom. No, if I'm fighting for anything, I'm fighting to keep y'all whole asses from expanding even further into these lands that y'all already have been doing. You know what I mean? That would be my reason as for it. But whatever. They say they would fraud to free some slaves or whatever. I don't know. So fuck out of here. Not bad. I would look at that. All wars have been funded and promoted by the same people. Yeah, even the Indian wars. Because even though it was a bunch of different countries that was coming back and forth at us, they all was coming from that same continent. Them motherfuckers knew each other. Ain't nobody finna tell me that the Spaniards didn't know the English was coming and the French was coming and all that shit, and they wasn't all conspiring like, nigga, we about to go take this side, and you take that side, and you hit that side, and you grab that side. And we're going to now, don't get in my way, though. We still might hate each other sometimes, but then when they get here, they start making, relationships with different Indian tribes and causing different Indian tribes to fight with each other and all this other stuff, really just instigating. Instigating things that shouldn't be instigated. But and I'm not surprised they do that today. They do that in wars in countries today. because we were giving this land the milk and honey. Yeah, and there's hella milk and honey out here. It definitely ain't no milk and honey in Africa. Yeah, and they do that stuff today. So we'll get off of that. And we're going to go towards... He actually got me leading, too. I did want to talk about the Native American... the Native American and Indian thing. But this one, we're going to talk about boarding schools. I just did a video about it, so this is going to go a little deep into it. More so than the video could go. I'm going to play a little bit of this video while I go make me a little bit of this damn tea, because my voice. I'm going to let y'all look at this, because we really didn't look that much at it. We looked at 58 seconds, and I've been talking the whole time. We're going to look a little bit at this more San Francisco Fair. I'm going to make this. If I didn't smoke back to back, it wouldn't be so bad either.
Over the centuries,
if you push through the turnstiles, you'd find yourself directly in front of a 435-foot tall stepped tower, 43 stories tall, adorned with more than 100,000 colored jewels hung in such a way that they could move in the breezes, so the entire building sparkled day and...
Do you know how long it would take just to collect 100 goddamn thousand jewels, nigga? Drink fresh mint ginger tea. I wish I had me some ginger. I do got me some lemon and some that ginger would be dope. But do y'all hear that? Like, do you know how long it would be just to collect the goddamn things from that, and how tall that motherfucker is? That's crazy.
Right.
the fair, also called the Panama Pacific International Exposition to celebrate the completion of the Panama Canal, was an opportunity for San Franciscans to show the world that they had risen from the ashes of the earthquake and fires that demolished the city in 1906. The fair's aura of opulence was intended to set the stage for San Francisco's rise as a cultural and economic powerhouse, establishing it as America's gateway to trade with the Pacific. To make the fair a success, the city's diverse communities had to come to the table and put aside polarizing social and political tensions, some of which persist today.
We had the unions and the commercial organizations and the city itself. And many of these people really didn't like each other very much, and yet they banded together and really worked in concert towards this goal of creating the Jewel City.
The fairgrounds featured exhibition halls dedicated to everything from machinery to horticulture, within which were some 80,000 displays. There was also an area called the Joy Zone, with amusement park-style rides and concessions. Visitors could marvel at daredevils like Art Smith looping his flaming plane through the sky. Foreign and state pavilions displayed their own attractions, including the Liberty Bell, transported all the way from Philadelphia. Fine art sculptures appeared around every bend, and revolutionary lighting techniques bathed the fairgrounds in a swirl of color. Luminaries like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Luther Burbank were on hand to showcase the inner workings of modern industry, technology, and science. Model Ts and Levi jeans rolled off assembly lines in mini factories, and visitors could see life-saving infant incubators, the latest typewriters, and a working replica of the Model Ts and Levi jeans rolled off assembly lines in mini factories, and visitors could see life-saving infant incubators.
Life-saving infant incubators. My bad. I just came back over here. I heard that. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all. This nigga lying right here. Okay. Is this how we ended up with them clones? All them people in San Francisco walking around. Wait, this was 1915? I guess that was afterwards. That's crazy.
Typewriters and a working replica of the Panama Canal. Although a world apart from the carnage of World War I underway across the Atlantic, the fair was no escape from many of the social struggles unfolding on the home front. Class tensions and prejudices that divided San Francisco and much of America were on full display here, including derogatory depictions of different ethnic groups and the barring of African Americans from being hired for certain jobs at the fair.
Well, the fair was meant to be sort of inclusive, to gain the broad public support that the fair officials needed to make this happen. You know, they billed it as, you know, something that was going to create jobs and bring the city together. And for some groups that was really true, and for other groups it wasn't.
But there were also displays, conventions, and other opportunities within the fair for social debate.
For other groups it wasn't.
But there were also displays, conventions, and other opportunities within the fair for social debate. For social debate.
To experience something together.
All right. So y'all got to see it. I was over here making this damn little drink and doing what I do here. But I was listening. And, of course, they had to throw in a motherfucking story about racism. Oh, and they didn't let the niggas in and didn't let them work in certain positions. And but we worked really hard and got that changed, or whatever the hell that lady was saying. Like, boy, y'all always got to throw in something. What the hell they got to do with these structures? Who told you to tell us what the hell was going on with us? No, I think they just always got to throw in some bullshit ass fucking... Like, nobody asked them what was going on with the niggas during the fair. Nobody, okay? Oh, my God. They always got to throw in some kind of story and then also make themselves look like a little slight savior. You know, yeah, we were doing bad things, but, you know, many of us tried to go against it. You know, shut your stupid liberal ass up, man. Drink a little bit of this juice or tea. They got the narrative on our top. Yeah, they always got to put the narrative on top of everything. What up, crew? What? How we are together. I think. So they can't let us breathe, right? Say, oh, you talking to Lee? But yeah, so yeah. Now we're gonna get into. I didn't really see it, but I don't really feel like looking much. I'm gonna have to look more into this, you know, at some point. But you know, people are doing this. A lot of people, like even, and I think right now it's like popular. Let me show you this. Like since it's such a popular topic, random people are doing like goddamn TikToks. Cause this is how I found out about it. I had saved it from this YT chick.
This breathtaking palace was, according to the official narrative, built for the Panama Pacific International Exposition of 1915, which was a celebration of the completion of the Panama Canal. This palace was part of 635 acres.
So I seen this, and typically when I see these old world things, because my TikTok be sending them to me now, I'll click over to the person. Now, she's got quite a few followers, but then I looked down at her content, and she doesn't really have a whole lot of she don't have no content of the old world, like, type stuff. And so I've seen a few people that be like this, and that just tells me the topic is a good topic, because now she got 64,000 views off of that, and she wasn't really pulling in no views off of her people. You know what I'm saying, like that. So it's one of those things, and that's kind of cool because, you know, it's allowing more people to go out there and tell these truths just for the clout. And as they get it for the clout, we can save it for the records, right? As we see them out there making these videos or whatever, we can get it, because it's like, damn, now I don't have to go out there. And I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. And some of these places I wouldn't know because I'm not in all these cities. You say, The only reason why people are paying attention to us is because they are discriminating against everybody now. This ain't new to us. Yeah, that's true. Trying to get noticed. Yeah. Questions, everything. hmm So like, hold on, man. I think my damn tea bag busted. I don't know. Whatever. Fuck it. All right. So, and this is another dude that's real good. I follow, man, and he be talking about some dope old world stuff. So yeah, I mean, and there's several of them. Like you got other people, like he be this dude. I like this dude right here.
Okay, so this building here, my husband looked it up, and we were curious because look at the.
This ain't him. Hold on, where he at? Do I? Or maybe I didn't save one of his videos as a favorite, but he always say the same thing. He be like, "Come on, bro, look at this, bro. You mean to tell me it's like that, bro? Come on, bro." That's his thing for each building that he does. But anyways, they can keep doing it for the Cloud Hill. I'm going to save it and appreciate them for calling out all these buildings I never would have knew existed. So, yeah. Let's go back to the topic of of the boarding schools. So this whole thing kind of started off with a particular photograph that I act like I can't never find, but I know it's on here in my face. It's not that one. Shit, I'll probably Google it faster than find it in my damn photos, and I hate when that's the case. Oh, you know what? I should be able to. Let's see. Indian Territory. Here it is. Okay. All right. So, Indian Territory, right there, right? The beautiful Indian Territory, okay? Now, who is in this picture? Now, some of y'all have seen this already. Some of y'all have not. But as we zoom in, we see nothing but melanated folks, right? Kids. Now, with this particular picture, even though people are so far away, a lot of them are looking at the camera, or the kids are looking in the circle like they're supposed to. But a lot of people are looking at the camera because they're not in a staged photo per se, but you can tell they know somebody's taking a photo. But you can also tell that they're in the middle of doing something. But then you can see that these people know that somebody's taking a photo, right? That's important. They're all looking at the photographer, right? These people are looking at the photographer, right? These people are looking at the photographer, right? All of these people are looking at the photographer. The only YT folks you got is sitting over here. Everybody else is here. Now, this was called the Tallahassee Manual Labor School. And everybody, for the most part, is looking at the camera. Again, this ain't a staged photo, but most people are looking at the camera unless they're looking at something that makes sense. She's looking at this way, at them playing their game, right? Ring around the rosies or whatever the hell they got going on, right? Why am I harping on that? Because when you go and look at let me make sure I can see where that's at in my photos. See, it's somewhere right here, and I keep missing it. I just want to make sure I can see it so I can get back to it. And it's pissing me off because I'm still missing it even right now. Oh, okay, I see it right over here. Okay, so when you go here and look at these photographs from the boarding schools from your $5 natives in the Library of Congress. Now, we know that the Library of Congress or the government be bullshitting. They like to use doctored photos. We've already seen that with the Miwok tribe, right? So that just means That don't mean everything that you see is going to be fucked up. It just means you have to have an extra level of, my bad, I'm trying to plug my phone in. It just means you have to have an extra level of discernment when looking at this stuff. Take your time. So let's look closer at this photograph. Now, this is a staged photograph. Everybody came there for the specific purpose to take the photograph, right? They all are dressed perfectly for photograph day, right? Well, let's take a little closer look here. He's looking that way, right? He's looking somewhere else. He's looking somewhere else. He's looking somewhere else. He's possibly looking at the camera. He's looking somewhere else. He's looking at the camera. He's looking a completely different way. What's over there? He's looking somewhere slightly over there too. What's over there? These people somewhat looking at the camera. This dude looks like he's looking at the camera, but he's like slightly off. Same thing with him. Eyeballs are slightly looking like that way, right? He's completely looking that way. What are you looking at? This guy's looking this way. Why are you looking at that way? This guy's looking that way as well as that guy, right? We said him. He's looking that way too. He's looking this way. He's looking that way. Now, you see why I said that about having discernment with photographs? Because this dude is standing yards away from these people, completely far, whatever the case may be. Yet you can see that damn near everybody is like, hey, look at the goddamn cameraman so we can take this photograph, right? This is a believable picture. This shit has to be a goddamn joke. Other things that don't look right. Whose hand is on his shoulder? You want to say it's that guy because he's so straight. But you really can't see a lift up of any arm. Whose hand is on his shoulder? Why is it there in the first place? His hand is there. They at least made it apparent. But I don't even know if the hand is even touching the guy fully. Possibly. Why are you touching the guy in the front of you at the same time? I don't know. They're buddies and they're pals, right? These guys, they got their arms. Yeah, I don't know. It could be their arms. Like, why are you? But wouldn't, I don't know. It just seemed, everything in here just does not seem right. What it looks like to me, personally, is it looks like, Photoshop. It looks like they took all of their portrait photos. They probably had single portrait photos done and put them all together. And I don't even know if they did that. I don't know what the hell this is. I don't trust none of it. You can't even see that. It could just be because it's old. That's what they want you to believe. Why would so many people not be looking at the cameraman? That's the main thing to me. Why would so many people not be looking at the obvious goddamn cameraman in front of you? For that reason, it's a sad day. Looks odd. It really does. Right? So now we start questioning even more things. Well, you have a map here. Where the hell is the damn map? Damn it, where's the map? Hold on, y'all. I swear it should be like right in my face. It's gotta be on there, dude. That's insane. Here it is. It's way up here. Okay. I thought it was just further down than it was. Okay. So on this website, nationalparksandservices.gov, you have your boarding schools. You have your boarding schools, right? First thing I noticed is that the boarding schools are all in the north and over here on the west. Now, the first thing that you really should start asking is, what happened to all, you fought all the Indians over here. You fought all the Indians down here. Most of the 15, 16, 17, 1800s was damn near dealing with this zone right here. But there are 0 boarding schools listed in this area. All federally owned land. I didn't know that. So these start asking questions. Why are there not a bunch of schools down here? But in the list of schools that they list 26, 25 schools. But what they don't list is they do not list the Tallahassee school, the school that I showed y'all. They do not list this school, the Tallahassee Manual Labor School. And this school, where was this at? I think this is in like Alabama or something. Let me see. Where was this located? It might have been in Oklahoma. Where was located? Okay, it was in Oklahoma, Tallahassee, Oklahoma. And you know, I'm gonna tell y'all what this started making me think. Well, we'll get to that because I'll get off on a tangent. But it was in Oklahoma. Now, you do have one listed in Oklahoma, one school listed on that map in Oklahoma, but it is not that school. Number 19, which was the Chilocco School, Indian Agriculture School. And I have their yearbook, their first yearbook. And I was showing that earlier, actually, to that dude that was talking noise. And so you don't have it listed, but it was there. And it was funded. In fact, looking even further into this, I saw on the BIA.gov site, we're still in the government, you have the Tallahassee boarding school. So they knew it existed. Of course they knew it existed, because when you look at the things where it says, where does it say it? Type, funding. I thought it said something about funding. Boarding definition criteria, federal support. Federal support. Yes. Okay, they had federal support at one point and was open as early as 1844. Now, what they're trying to say is, hey, technically we opened up this school and it was open to 84, it housed 80 full-blood Creek students when it first opened in 1850. And then it says a little bit later after that, the main Tallahassee building, hold on, let's see. Creek. The main Tallahassee building was largely destroyed in an accidental fire. Maybe that's why I can't find too many records possibly about it. But I haven't looked too far yet. But it was destroyed in a fire in 1880. The Muskogee Creek Council relocated the children to a new school with Lee Commission as their population had been declining in Tallahassee. The school reopened in 1883 for the freedmen, the descendants of Tallahassee Manual Labor School, for Creek freedmen and their descendants at the Tallahassee School. So what they try to do is say, hey, these schools were technically built for the other Indians first, your Siberians, even though they really wasn't here yet, technically, right? as we've seen, there's no proof of these people being here at them times. Even if you try to look up 1800s photographs of them, the main 1800s photographs you get are going to be these. And even then, they say, even this one says it's 1880 questionable. They don't even know when the hell this photograph came out. Same thing with this one in the Library of Congress. And this one doesn't have so many people looking away. It's just a bunch of damn, I don't know, man. I don't know who these people are. They definitely ain't natives, or they natives, but they definitely ain't Indians. They ain't whatever. Some of them look Asiatic. Some of them I could tell just by the whatchamacallit, you know. But you know, they young when they kids and young. You know, it's just like whatever. But that's one of the earliest they got. Whereas the Tallahassee Manual Labor School, it's around that same time, 1891, but it's a lot more proof. Like, you got people actually doing stuff in these photos. It's not just a bunch of people just set up for a photo op, is what I guess I'm getting to. This ain't no photo op. Like, they knew people were taking a photo. People knew somebody was taking a photo. That's why they all lined up and looking. It's to a degree it's a photo op, but for some reason they have these people doing this, these kids doing this in the photo for whatever reason. They say keep doing this. I don't know if it was like, hey, just keep doing what you do, or we're trying to showcase in the photo the kind of fun we have here, or the whatever. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to portray, but what it does look like is it looks like life. It looks like a real photograph. You know, I don't see anything that can be like, oh, that's doctored. And so what I'm getting to, hold on. So what I'm getting to, I said they didn't have color footage. I don't think about 1891 they may or may not have. Have you noticed all the different hairstyles? On the black folks or the Siberians, because I can't really tell much here. It's because it's so far away, but I can definitely somewhat see some things. But a lot of their hair looks decently straight. To be honest with you, I don't see no afros. Because think about it. I mean, wouldn't you call the hair straight? That's not afros. You don't have to comb. Look at her hair. Like, if a person showed up and said their hair is long, straight, and thick, that's what they would see. This is what they would see. Like, and this is 1891. We've got people, let me show you this. We got people who were slicking back their hair even in the mid-1800s. Let me see if I got that. Yeah, right here. Motherfucking state representatives, nigga. The first state colored representatives, nigga, was super duper sharp, nigga. Look at that. Now, he might have been a mulatto, you know, who knows, but, and him possibly too. He might have been a mulatto. His hair somewhat slicked back. He had the hair slicked back. He could have been a mulatto. He had the hair slicked back. And he had, like, these niggas could be mulattoes, but they may not be. At the same time, I gotta not say that. I don't know their lineages, so let me not say that. But people knew how to straighten their hair during these times, you know. Even, let's see if we can find some in this photograph amongst our people. Like, look at his hairstyle, you know. And if you think about it, it makes sense because, like, even some of the older musicians would have their hair straight. Let's see, what are some, like, or is that too, let's say 1860s black musicians. I can't think of no names. Let's just look at some something like this. What is this? like it's not afros, and it's not straight. It's in a hairstyle. It's pulled up. It's pinned. Got some little thing up there where it's probably keeping it held together. Look at her hair though. Her hair is definitely gorgeously straight. I don't want to say gorgeously straight, but you know, all the hairstyles are gorgeous. But you know, she's definitely got a slick back doing his thing. And look at hers. You know, like our people have always had an array of hairstyles. Let's see if I can find some more around this time. Like, look at that, you know. Yeah, you can say woolly, but you wouldn't say it's anything like an African's hair. Let's see. And I'm just doing a quick look. You know, I don't know what these people, whatever. But even look at the little Frederick Douglass. And I don't know much about his past or what he was. But, you know, his hair is still thick. But still, you can lay that bitch down to a degree. It's still going to be thickly laid down. But yeah. That's just some late stuff. So we'll get back on the... You said you have Nigerian wool hair. Coco with a point. Well, I don't know, man. Most Americans don't really have hair that tight, that dry and tight as an African. And even for those for a reference, even Louis Corus knew the difference between their hairstyles. If I had that book still up, I was gonna show you. Oh, I do, right there. So Louis Corus drew the California Indians like this, right? With the hairstyles that we could see, right? And the other hairstyles. But he also drew the Africans. What did the Africans look like? I don't think I showed you the Africans. It's pretty hilarious. And it's pretty accurate. Actually, there was this dude on a live stream, and I told him he looked like one of these dudes in the book, and we put this up. We put this up as a side by side on his ass. Motherfucker look exactly like this nigga right here. Go back. I hate when it does that. God damn it. So when Louis Corus went there to Africa, this is what he saw, y'all. Okay? This is what he saw. This is an African's hair. I'm just saying, like, he didn't see no Africans with long hair. He saw beady beads. He saw short styles. He saw rough faces. He saw Africans. So, yeah, that's a receding hairlines. Yeah, he saw receding hairlines. He saw all of that. But when you go to the Americans, nobody drew the Americans like that. Let's look at some amazing Americans. Let's look at some amazing American drawings. What was in my head? You know what? I got a whole album full of amazing Americans. Amazing American Indians. So when people drew us, depicted us, it was many different ways. You know, there's some hairstyles. Can't really tell she's got that on. She's got her curly do, you know, kept up. Hairline straight, everything good, you know what I'm saying? He's got the fro, right? And that's the colorized version, right? You got people like, can't really tell from that one. They got hairdressers on, hairdress on, but her hair, you know, would be nice and curly and done up right under there. Hairdress on. Look at that. Hair flowing in the wind. That's an American right there. Okay. It's even got the curl pattern as it flows out. It ain't just some straight strings, right? It ain't some straight stringy shit. You know, it's got a little pattern to it. You know, the white girls, they kind of got their little somewhat thing going. You know, I see how they did the hair there. Little curly puffs on the side kind of thing, whatever you want to call it. You know, like when people drew us, they didn't draw roughness. You know, even these folks. That just looks like some of us with short hairstyles and one of your aunties, right? One of your normal aunties, right? Let's look at let me see. But that's a lot of allegory of the continents up there. Even on here, even the Chippewas, you know? Even the Chippewas, different hairstyles. Look at that. Just, now that's kind of stunning, you know what I'm saying? He doing different, you know, niggas like to do different things. Stuff like that. Like, yeah, there wasn't no roughness. If anything, there was curly, kind of froze, kind of woolly curly, you know, but not just hardness, you know, like that. So, you know, the sun tends to do us well. You know, you would think it would do Africans well. Think about this. The sun does us well. If we ground ourselves, it does us well. Oh, that's what I was looking for. That's really where I came here. Like, these are some of the hairstyles of I think these are Algonquins, by James Woolridge in Virginia, or Virginia Indians, whatever. Okay, different hairstyles. No roughness. Everybody with a smile, damn near, you know. Nice people. Our people, you know what I'm saying? We're nothing like the Africans. And it's hard for me to take any of those African stories, to be honest with you. But let's go back to the thing here. My little side stuff. Algonquin was created by the word caucus. Caucus. I hadn't heard that one. So we were talking about the boarding schools that were Indian boarding schools, right? So once I started to wonder why this school wasn't listed in those boarding schools, right? So I started on a pathway of looking up other boarding schools or whatever. Then eventually I was like, let me ask ChatGPT. Like, first I asked it, list the other schools. Hold on. First I asked it, I can't see my photo, my but it says, I was asking like some of the earliest photographs of Native American boarding schools. And actually I could probably find it in my ChatGPT. It's probably still up. Yeah, here we go. So what are some of the Native American boarding schools, the earliest photographs? These were some of the main and only earliest photographs from the 1800s that they can say. 1871 Quaker missions, but even then, I don't really see any photos on their website on that particular thing. So I don't even know if the photos they gave me are from the time frame it's specifying. Because one time I went to a website and it did have the photo, but even though it had the photo, it was talking about it. You see that? You see how they take these? Because all of those people had one of these too. These little fake little photos, and I feel like they just took these and put them all together on that other photograph. But I could be wrong, because they're trying to say this is what he looked like before, and this is what he looked like when we was done with him. And they literally, nobody asked questions like, how did you get rid of the melanation within a boarding school, right? How does that happen within a boarding school? And I don't believe that there was any melanation, because one of these, if not both of them, are fake. Both of them, in my opinion, are fake. In my opinion. Let me get a drink. Yeah, so both of these are fake in my opinion. And as we go down, we see even more of them. These look like some Filipinos, to be honest with you. Or not Filipino, they look more maybe Korean. I don't know. We did a little phenotype class the other time, but they said, hey, this is what they looked like before. And this is after we cleaned them up and got them ready for the military. And people believe this. People believe this. I can't even see the same people in these faces. And again, how does this one? They don't really have dark skin, but this one, the skin really ain't dark either here. But it's like they trying light tricks, and especially with there. But you definitely see the distinct change in the skin tones. But these would be some of their so-called earliest. This is some of their earliest 1883 at the Carlisle Indian School. Now, what's funny is I can't find yearbooks from those years. I can't find the yearbook from this school until 1918. And when you use inside that yearbook, it's a whole lot of military stuff. Remember? I'll show y'all. That's the same book or the same school. Right here, the Carlisle. And when you go down up in there, that's where you have this one thing. This thing be moving kind of slow. Now it's picking up. Now, okay. But you got a bunch of people in literal military outfits. And notice nobody is copper colored. Okay? So nobody's really mixed with anything. And most of these people look like, what does he look like? You think he looks like a native or does he look like a German? What do y'all think that looks like? He look like a German? Mein Fjord. Filipinos again, YT. A YT German. What is he doing here? And what are they doing in these military outfits? And I know nobody's going to sit here and tell me that they just put on these outfits as school uniforms because they just wanted their people to be polished. This is also a student battalion. What do you mean a student battalion? Damn it. But a lot of that is throughout this Carlisle. And that's what's, and another thing I'll show you. Carlisle Indian Boarding School yearbooks in the Oklahoma Historical Society. So you know I'm not bullshitting. Well, that's where I got the book. Hold on. Unless the other one was maybe it was a Chilocco one that had a whole list of them. Hold on. I thought it was the Carlisle. Go back, nigga. Yearbooks. Yeah. Let me look up the other one. Chilocco. Indian Boarding Schools yearbooks. Maybe it was theirs. Okay, it was theirs. I thought it was the Carlisle. Carlisle was likely similar because I looked at the Carlisle 1918 and I think I looked at their 1930s. But what I want you to notice is the big gap in yearbooks. 1919, nothing before 1919, and nothing again for almost 12 years. And then after that, they get pretty consistent. Then you lose off for a little bit again. Ooh, I'm just realizing that. And then they come back 49, and then they come back in the 50s. That's really weird. But these people were fighting in wars. When was World War I and World War II? So World War II took place in 1939 to 1945. And what's missing here? 1939 to 1945, right? Completely missing? Okay. And when was World War One? Why didn't they tell me both? When was World War One? 1914 to 1918-ish. So it's just kind of funny. Now, 1919, so they may not have fought in those wars, or maybe they just came back from fighting in the war. I don't understand. I don't get it. But we have a bunch of military-looking folks in 1919 in an Indian boarding school, which doesn't make sense because these people... Let's just look up some propaganda about the Indian boarding schools. Indian boarding schools. Let's see if we can find a quick excerpt. The Reckoning. I bet they ain't talking about the military part of it. The Dark History of U.S. Boarding Schools. Let's give that a listen to real quick.
Next story tonight, for many Native people, Indian boarding schools remain a dark and hidden history. And in fact, this week was Indigenous Peoples Day, and November is Native American Heritage Month. So in other words, it's time to talk more about this and hopefully help people heal. And a warning, by the way, some of the things you're about to hear are graphic.
Oh my God. Be careful. You're about to hear some amazing graphic, gross, grotesque stuff about boarding schools. What can be that bad? What could really be that fucking bad that you had to warn a nigga? Let's listen.
In the late 1800s, Indian boarding schools could be found across the U.S. and in the Pacific Northwest. Indigenous children were taken to the schools.
Here's Christine Pitawanich.
In the late 1800s, Indian boarding schools could be found across the U.S. and in the Pacific Northwest. Indigenous children were taken to the schools to learn trade skills, religion, and English. In 1880, one was established in Forest Grove for Native children all over the region. 5 years later, it moved to where Chemawa Indian School is today, just north of Salem. The history of Indian boarding schools is a traumatic one, well known among many tribes.
Siamanastalacha Salkeda is my Indian name. My Christian name is Freddie Lane.
Where'd that Christian name come from? How did you get your Christian name? Where'd the last name Lane come from? Yeah, he's admitting it. These people know what happened. And we already know I got all kind of proof of these people. Don't forget, y'all, I got the proof right here for them getting their names given to them. Remember? It is under one of these photos. Damn, you know what? I know I got goddamn, Indian writing. Maybe it's under my natives weren't here folder. Natives weren't here. Where is that at? Goodness, dude. I hate when I skim too fast and I miss exactly what I'm looking for. Oh, it's not in here. I can just I gotta find them damn things in my damn folder, but I'm gonna pull it up right here. It's real easy to find now that I remember. We'll go to the National Archives website, .gov, Indian Family Registry. I just have set certain pages already saved, so I don't have to go in here and try to hunt down the actual pages that had a lot of our surnames and stuff on it. But now it's saying the requested page can't be. Okay, there it goes. But as you can see here, Indian name. I don't know why it's pixelated. Should just want to be difficult today. Indian name, English name. He said my Christian name, no English name or our names. Cloud, Sharp, Love, Rice, Earth, Lowry, Hill, Fire. Appreciate the gifts. Fire, Smith. So you have these names, man. He just said his name was such and such Lane, and my name is Chocobatu, blah blah, whatever. Talking that shit. He don't know. He's talking whatever type of shit. But let him say.
I'm Clackamas. Lummi is the reservation. Clackamas are the people of the Pacific Northwest.
Ana Sanchez. I am the Director of Family Services here at NAIA, and I'm also the State Representative for House District 43.
Yeah, I'm David Lewis, a member of the Confederate Tribes of Grand Ronde and faculty at Oregon State University.
The stories and trauma associated with boarding schools have been passed down through generations by oral tradition. Many have called what happened cultural genocide.
And some kids would go in at the age of 6 and would never be seen again.
I have listened to stories from the elders having this police car come and just take them all away and never seeing.
These motherfuckers would say anything, nigga. Anything. Because the same motherfuckers would tell you they know their grandmas. And hold up. How was your oral history being passed down if them niggas was taken away and never seen again, bitch? These niggas will say anything, okay? You got to think, when people say sob stories in order to be like a Karen, to gain whatever, whatever manipulative, emotions they can get out of you. They say everything. He stole my children. I went outside, my left toe hit the concrete wrong. You know what I'm saying? And then I tried to go to work, and I don't know, I'm just going off. But they say all kinds of stuff. Like, what do you mean they took them and were never seen again? Nigga, wasn't they at the boarding school? Didn't you have an address to the boarding school? Fuck you mean? Go there and see about it. Hold on.
Their parents again. They were
And faculty at Oregon State University.
The stories and trauma associated with boarding schools have been passed down through generations by oral tradition. Many have called what happened cultural genocide.
And some kids would go in at the age of 6 and would never be seen again.
I have listened to stories from the elders having this police car come and just take them all away and never seeing their parents again. They were forced to speak English. They were forced to learn Christianity.
You were beaten in some cases for, again, speaking your language. The mentality was kill the Indian, save the man. That was the government's policy.
Do you run into people who don't realize that this has happened?
Hey, she's Native too, if she want to be.
In the United States, in Oregon?
Definitely. Again, it's something that Uncle Sam would rather not talk about.
That's because it's not easy to talk about.
Many of those children didn't make it home. There is a burial ground outside of Chemawa Indian Boarding School right now.
Pacific University researchers have documented nearly 300 students buried there. While generally sickness did spread in schools, those in the indigenous community say it wasn't just disease that killed students.
We're talking about, basically murder on the part of teachers and the.
So let's get this straight. They took the kids, and you don't know what happened to them. They were never seen again. But at the same time, you also know that they was killing kids. I mean, come on now. There's no proof of none of this, right? This is just all oral, passed down information. Now, mind you, this is late 1800s, in a time where records were very prominent. People were recording a lot of shit. Yeah, man. Who? Somebody talking shit? No, you didn't. Oh, it's one of those little avatar pages. Madam Grifter Sparkles. Yeah, I don't know what the hell. Get you up out of here. Come on, phone. I don't know, man. My electronics is tripping today. Every one of my electronics is tripping. All right, that motherfucker's out of here. This dot person with no picture. Yeah, I got his ass up out of here. But yeah, man. So they be wanting to, put all these extras on the story. The kids are gone or this and that. But this is in a time where, like, you mean to tell me that y'all brought thousands of kids to boarding schools and most, if not none of their names are recorded on just going to schools or being part of these programs or really the names had to be recorded. Let me tell you this. The names had to be recorded because they gave them English names in those boarding schools in many cases, or they gave them to them before then. But that family, the Register of Indian Families, somebody wrote some shit down, right? And this was from when was this? When was this bitch? 1901 to 1902. So that's pretty fairly early in the recording history of the motherfucking shit. So, ain't no, we didn't hear, we don't know where they went. It's just oral tradition passed down. People was unalive, this and that. No, we need to see proof.
These schools.
The abuse that happened in those schools was immense. There was sexual abuse there. That's well documented.
The history is very...
Where's the documents? You see how they just say it? Now you talking about pedophilia going on rampantly with no documentation and just throw it out there. That's been documented. Ma'am, you came here today to be part of a video to talk about it. You didn't think it was important to bring that information that you saw? These people will say anything to make you feel like you should feel bad for them. Exactly. What the damn information?
It's tragic.
Lane recalls a heavy conversation he had with a 75-year-old tribal chief who went to a boarding school in Canada.
These were his words. They abused me as a child, and I've never seen a chief cry. I wouldn't believe it if he didn't tell me how the priests up in Canada, they would rape the children.
Well, that's a different story. If it was the priest, that's because y'all went to Catholicism, okay? A Catholic, I could believe that in the Catholic boarding school. That ain't got nothing to do with anything else. But just you throw it in there, that part, okay, maybe that part I can actually say it probably did happen. Yeah, within theirs, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, y'all decided to be Catholics.
And the nuns would hide the pregnancy, and when the child was birthed.
Think about this, though. I didn't know that their boarding schools were headed by priests and whatever. And I don't know how long that was, because when you look at the actual boarding school yearbook photos, it'll show you who the staff is. And the staff didn't wear Catholic shit. I better say, well, maybe not. Maybe that one right there, but hold up. Wow. Look at that. Look at this dude. What is he doing here? Who assumed the duties of the superintendency of the Carlisle. This was the superintendent in 1917. Mein Fuhr. Yeah, they wasn't no motherfucking. But he said in Canada, so it's a different one. There could be some Catholic ones. But typically they'll show you the staff. I don't know where the rest of the staff at. These are the class. One of the other, I think the Chilocco one showed the staff, but we'll get back to the video. I'm over here.
Burned those nuns who believed in God, in the name of God, they threw those children in the furnace. They were born and then they burned them.
Lane says in some cases, Native American women were sterilized at boarding schools. And to this day, the extent of abuse is difficult to quantify.
But we're not willing to look sometimes at the history right here in the United States. It's really quite sad.
But Sanchez says things are starting to improve, with the first Native American to serve as the U.S. Secretary of the Interior, Deb Haaland.
Who we are all so immensely proud of has initiated a federal Indian boarding school initiative that will actually do some research into the boarding schools here in the United States.
And that may be how the healing starts, how we move forward, however painful it may be.
We really just have to own that these things happened, and an apology just won't do it.
They tell me Chemawa Indian School is very different than it was so long ago. In fact, Lane and his father attended the school. Students now choose whether they want to attend the high school. And for some, like Lane, it's a positive and life-changing experience. It's become a place where Indigenous people from different groups can come together, form lifelong friendships, and gain opportunity. Christine Petawanich, KGW News.
An important story, but surely a tough one to hear. Powerful, powerful stuff.
All right, so, my bad. Your boy had to grab something, but I was listening and watching it. So, the reason why I was showing it to show this is what they talk about was going on. Now, notice that's what they talked about that was going on in the schools. All that rampant this and that and whatever in certain schools, depending on the school, right? Nobody talked about the military part of it. And also, if all of that was going on, I don't know why this thing keeps tripping, dude. Let me open it in Acrobat. If all of that was going on, does this look like that was going on? In many cases, I don't even really see children. Like, what are these grown men in military outfits doing at the car line? And they say this is the agricultural club, guys. This is the agricultural club. Now, they were just talking about a bunch, and they were just talking about Carlisle, or they were talking about Chilocco. Let's look at Chilocco. Let's look at Chilocco. This is Chilocco, at least in 1919. I guess all the other years are gone because whatever. But they said it started around that time too. So let me open it up in Acrobat. It's just tripping over there. So as we go down here, now these are your staff members. At Chilocco. Is that a priest? Or is that just a whatchamacallit? That could be a priest. Honorable Cato Seals, Indian Affairs. That's the Commissioner of Indian Affairs. Chief Supervisor of Indian Schools, the Chief Supervisor of Indian Schools. Then you got the seniors who pretty much took surnames. Public Senior Class, Chilocco. You know, I don't see kids. Hold on. The main thing I'm noticing in this yearbook is I don't see kids. I don't see 6-year-olds being. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I'm not seeing kids. And now that I think about it, I never have seen small kids at Chilocco. So when did that fucking happen? Like even these ain't kids. Like, what the hell happened? When I tell y'all shit's been pissing me, man, what the hell happened? It just went away. Maybe I'll press something. Like, at most, they could be teenagers. But 6, 7, 8, 10, 9, 12-year-olds? No, these are the seniors. This is a high school. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, I ain't never... That's the end of the damn book. And let's look at... And this is Chilocco. Let's look at a later Chilocco one. I don't think Chilocco has ever been, and they were just talking about Chilocco. I don't think Chilocco had ever been a goddamn school for kids that young. Then it also makes you think, how the hell you killing the Indian through high school, nigga? Don't forget all the they done built up everything. What the fuck? So this is Chilocco. Years later, staff members, no nuns and shit. But he was talking about one in Canada. That's a different one. The people are seniors. Yeah, this is the senior page. My bad. This is the page of the seniors, vocations. Yeah, you don't see no kids. These are all high school students. And that's what they was talking about, right? Let me see. Yeah, these are all high school students. Or adults posing as high school students. One of the two. I know they be playing. Let me just double check what they were saying. Now I'm kind of curious about that.
Next story tonight for many.
United States in Oregon?
Definitely. Again, it's
basically murder on the part of teachers in these schools.
The abuse that happened in those schools was immense. There was sexual abuse there. That's well documented.
The history is it's tragic.
What school was that?
The abuse that happened in those schools was immense. There was
Mount Pleasant Indian boarding school. Hold on. Let's look at that. Mount Pleasant Indian Boarding School yearbook. Probably ain't even got no damn yearbook. Let's see. Let me look. Sometimes the images. Might be. You really got to wonder about schools that don't have documentation like that. That didn't take me nowhere. Ain't that a bitch? Let's look up. I'm going to look at a couple others, but hold on. Let's look at the National Archive real quick. I'm just curious as to what all information is on this bitch. That's good. Okay, that's kind of. Mount Pleasant Industrial School. Panoramic of Mount Pleasant High School. Why does stuff keep not opening up? Pissing me off, man. What the fuck is going on tonight, dude? Why is it here? God, what is that photo? That's the photo they was looking at, ain't it? Look how quick I found that bitch. Look how quick I found that bitch. Mount Pleasant Indian Industrial School. Now, in the photograph, I guess to a degree. Let me see if I can download it. Get closer. Look like some white girls. Okay. Now let's see if we can find out more information about this Mount Pleasant. It could have been for their ages, but let me just see what else we got about it. Cause this one right here says high school, but the other one says industrial school. It's probably the industrial school, I guess. But let me just find out here real fast. Mount Pleasant Indian School Register of Pupils, 1922. C4 PDF. Damn, I don't want to register. It's some document right here. Mount Pleasant Indian School Registers, but it's not an old historical document, so I don't. I'm gonna have to just click on a couple more things, then we'll get back off of this. What I was trying to find is more information about, let's see here. My student kids filed for Mount Pleasant. Okay, whatever. View and download the Indian Diary, Mount Pleasant Indian School Superintendent's Diary. The record of one is one example of many held by the Bureau of Indian Affairs. You can explore more of our holdings online. So y'all got his some dude's diary, which is crazy. I done pulled that bitch up. But we don't have other information. Like, what is this? Y'all see, I be getting deep into some shit. I'd probably throw this in ChatGPT and have it transcribe it for me, so I'm not reading. Trying to fight my way through the curse of chicken scratch. Some of it I can feel, like visit from John, whoever, building inspection or whatever. 1892. Yeah, I don't know. This ain't really getting me nowhere. But ultimately, I wanted to know what were the students. Was it a normal school for kids, small kids? You know, what were the ages kids could be to go there? And I'm not really getting anything kind of concrete. Because if they were high schools or whatever, and there wasn't really any small school for kids, then what the hell? And that's gonna make me go. I was already in the process of looking up yearbooks for each of these Indian boarding schools, but I'm gonna go get back to it because I'm like, how come there are no schools that I see for the young kids? Are they all just upper high school kids, or are all of them having Indian people dressed up in military outfits? I really can't find hardly any information that I'm looking at it. I said, let me ask a question. Let me ask ChatGPT. Even though I can't trust it all the time, to be honest with you. I could trust it to transcribe stuff and stuff, but questions and shit, I don't know, man. What ages were at the Mount Pleasant School? Let me see, what ages were there? It says they accepted children from K through 8, 5 through 14 during most of its operation. If you want to, are there any yearbooks available, and what is the earliest yearbook? I have to start using this motherfucker. Pay $20 a month or whatever it is for this damn thing. It's that funny because it's always about saying, oh, but I can't see this. So it says answer. You have to prompt ChatGPT so it answers the way you want. That's what I've heard too. It took it a moment just to see this. It says, short answer, there isn't a known run of classic Mount Pleasant Indian School yearbooks, but there are yearbook style booklets. In an earliest one I can actually point is from 1917 and 1918. The Clark Library, what does exist? Clark Library, annual calendar, Mount Pleasant. Scholars citing Mount Pleasant in the archives, annual calendar. That just doesn't make sense, dude. Like, anyways, man, I don't know. I'm so far off. I'm about to probably get over here, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm need to preserve my voice, and I'm kind of lost at what the hell I was showing. I mean, I kind of know we started off with the old world shit and kind of veered into some California shit and some other shit, but I think my brain's just done working for right now. So I appreciate y'all definitely being up in here. He said all the ones on the boat with the Bowery boys were grown as fuck. I live not far from Mount Pleasant. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy how close you be up to it. Yeah, we just got to keep looking like, even after I get off of here tonight, I'm about to eat. And I'm about to look up more of these schools. That list. Let me pull that list back up. The burnout is good. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. It be like that. And somebody, if I don't properly prepare before a live stream and have me a good amount of receipts, I end up doing this a lot, to be honest. I need to really have me like a game plan for each one. When I try to just do it haphazardly, it'll be that way. But these, I'm going to go through and type in. I had already started up the top, and then I just kind of got lazy. But I'm going to go through each one of these hoes and see if I can find a yearbook for each one of these hoes, even though they ain't all of them. But at least these should be the prominent main ones. So I'm going to go through, see what I can find. Because my curiosity is, how many schools are there for even any kids like that? Also, how many of these got yearbooks or any kind of proof that they even existed whatsoever? What's the earliest existence of them? Are there any military things in those yearbooks, which would also go towards the other one, you know, as far as the idea of them being military training schools? I got many different questions, so I'm going to be definitely getting onto it. It'd be fun to see what all you come up with on the top. I appreciate that. Yeah, I love doing this stuff, man. I really do be on this shit all day, every day. I mean, I work a lot and do stuff, but when I wake up 4, 5 in the morning, and I'm really just on my computer researching and bullshitting until it's time for me to start getting up and moving around for work and stuff like that. So that's what I be doing, man. So I'm going to fuck with y'all later. Enjoy y'all Saturday. If today's Saturday, I can't even remember. And I'm going to holler at y'all.